Hi there and welcome back. The wash has dried, and as you can see you still have a lot of the color variations in it, but it has lost a lot of the highlights. So I'm gonna go in and re-highlight this, but I'm gonna do it really simple. Here I have my two highlighters. I have this one that's going to be for the dirt, and this one that's going to be for the stones and cobblestones and rocks and stuff. So I'm just going to mix them up and see if I might need to lighten any of these up. And just get a nice even color, or evenish. And I'm doing the red, brown and yellow mixed with white to get a color that works over all of them, over all of the color tones I already put in. This, I think I might have to add in some more white in, which I absolutely do. So I'm gonna do that. And you see I'm not even using all of the black I have put out. The black I'm using is very pigmented, which is nice. I think I am gonna need a little bit more white. And I put in a bit of brown to make it a more of a warm gray. Since it is a used road with like tracks and stuff, with like cobblestones that have gone off and stuff, I don't want it to be like nice shiny cobblestones. I want it to be more grungy looking. So I'm gonna put my paper down, and I'm gonna start off with the brown, and as usual I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go do this for all of my roads. And I'm using a bit of paint on my brush, but still I'm using a light touch, brushing it on, so it doesn't become too painted, so to speak. I want the texture out. I don't want to remove all the work I put down underneath. Then I'm gonna go with the brown, or with the gray. See how it looks. I might have to add some more white to it. I think I'm actually gonna do that. And all of a sudden I have a ton of gray paint. Don't think I'm gonna need all of this, but what do you do for the craft? Let's see, something like that I think is more what I'm looking for. Okay, so here you have it, and you have all these undertones of yellowish and green and stuff like that. And this I think is looking rather nice, and this will be the last step I'm gonna do for painting, because next step will be flocking. So I'll do this to all of my tiles and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, hi there. I'm back and all my tiles have been dry brushed a final time. And this is how they're looking. This is the pile I have of tiles. And I thought before I start putting on turf and stuff, I'll just show you the pile of stuff I have for this. I have a lot more. And I'm not gonna go through everything. I'll show you what I use when I use it. But I'll just show you some of the things I have available to me. And I can tell you straight away, all the tufts, like grass tufts and flower tufts and stuff, I'll be using, I've made myself. So I have never bought a grass tuft. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all of this stuff away, so I only have one tile to work at a time. And I'll be back. Okay, so I've gotten myself set up a bit. I've got some plates that I'm gonna shake off the base flocking. I'm gonna put down on these to start with. Once again, I'm gonna use my needle tip applicator filled with just wood glue. And I think the one I'm gonna start with is this fine turf from Woodland Scenic in earth. Just to get some variation. This is a really soft, like mocha brown, a bit yellow tint to it. And this is more of a red tint. Is the overall color, even though you have some green in it, you have some yellow in it. But this will also become like a dry, not wet earth. So I'm just gonna go in, and of course my glue is clogged. It's flowing better now. So I'm just going in small spots with this, to give the appearance of piled up dirt, so to speak. And I tend to do it where there is like piled up rocks and stuff, because I think that is the more natural place it would be. So I'm just gonna go in with my flock, and this is going to be a messy craft. And then I just go in and pat it to make sure the glue sticks to it. And this will of course be so much easier with the smaller pieces, because then I can work on top of the plate. So something like that. It's also kind of a mossy compared to the other colors on this. It's a bit mossy looking, which is kind of cool. So I'm gonna put, when I have it pure, I'll put it back in the container. When I have it mixed up, I'm gonna put it in a separate container. So okay, so I've got this. Then I'm gonna go in with let's see, I think I'm gonna go in with, this is a Noch flock, and it's a middle green. So I'm gonna go in with that in a couple of places. And this is just to get some sort of a base texture. For when I'm going to put down like some tufts and stuff. Which will be pretty cool. And this one I'm putting in between the rocks and stuff as well. Or like the cobblestone type rocks. So something like that. And this is the color. And I might mix it and do a variation. I have this in Dunkelgrün, the same kind, which is a really dark green. So I might mix them up and do splotches in different colors. Let's see how this looks first. And this one I'm being a little bit more careful with. First of all, I don't have as much, but also because this will be mixed, and I don't want to lose too much of this flocking to the mix. So let's see if I can go in with some of the dark green. And this is probably one of my favorite ones, the dark green. It works really nice as like moss and stuff on like building walls and stuff when you put it in this type of an application. So this one I have actually rebought and have, yeah, I bought it more than once because I've used up so much of it. It's also a nice one to do your own mixes with, which I do as well. Did I get all the greens? Something like that. Okay, shake it off. So now you have something like this, which is pretty cool. And this will make a nice mixed flock as well. So I'm not too upset that it's getting mixed. It's just, I want to keep as much of it unmixed and mix as I go if I want it. But I tend to, when I'm doing projects, I can tend to make up stuff like this or use this like for when I'm basing miniatures and stuff and I want something mixed, not so pristine like this one. So now we have something that looks like this. Now the next thing I'm going to use, this is a hobby round arid static grass, and this is, I think, maybe 2 millimeters. And this I use more as flocking than as actual static grass, since it's so short. So to get some of this like dyed dry grass, I just go in where it might be, and as you can see, it's almost like I'm doing this in smaller and smaller spaces, I'm not being, this is not something I want big patches of, so to speak. I just want small and interesting little dots of this color. So I'm gonna go in and do the same thing. Just press it in. This technique of just pressing it in tends to help with getting it to kind of stand up as well, which is pretty cool. I have made myself a static grass applicator, but for something like this I can't be bothered to use it. It's not worth the hassle trying to get the electricity in the glue spots and stuff. Okay. So now we have something like this. So I know this is a lot of steps, usually for someone, but since I'm making these roads once, I'm not gonna make these roads again. The point of these for me is I make them once and that's it. I don't have to make them ever again. That's why I'm actually trying to take really good care with using materials that can hold up to use and touching, and also actually trying to make them look as nice as I can when I make them. So the next thing I'm gonna use is this. This is the stems. And let me tell you, I don't know if I would do it again if I could. I probably won't have to because I have like big yards of it now. But these are the stems from the seeds from the birch tree. And I was lucky enough to be up north at home when the hanging birches were giving these out. And those are the ones, not the seeds, but the hangs, like the seed hangings. That is what you use for natural miniature leaves. So I picked a bunch. I had like a big bag of these hangings that I then went through and took away all the seeds, sorted through to get those little leaves. It was time consuming, I can tell you that. As you can see here, I think you can see it. Those are one of those little leaves. And I haven't gone through and tried to change colors on them, which I don't think it will be a problem. But it was so much time just sorting through them that I probably won't do it again. But in the process, these are the stems, and they look like perfect little twigs and stuff for miniatures. So I kept these as well. So I'm just gonna go in, and every here and there put a twig in. And this is totally for just some added interest in this road. It does not have like any type of real use or anything. This is just to like, maybe this is in a forest, maybe it just gives it more variation. So that's the only reason I'm doing this, to make it even more usable anywhere, so to speak. Because like I said, I'm gonna do these roads once, I'm never gonna do them again. So I try to do them as modular, as interesting, and as usable everywhere, or in any type of setting that I can. Because these could also be used like in a post-apocalyptic setting, if you did the base coat more like a straight one, because the roads would be torn up and stuff, like asphalt and stuff. So okay, now we're gonna go to the next step, which is, and this is gonna take some place or some space rather. Need to sort out. So I have this, which is different types of, oh, here I can show you. These are the birch seeds things I was talking about that makes really nice miniature leaves. Let's see if I can get one out. So like that. And since I did them myself, they're all different sizes and stuff, which is really nice. But here I have grass tufts in different colors. If I can get them out. And these are like strings of grass tufts. Here I also have the foreground leaf punches, or the first one they came out with. Let's see if you see. And these it's just colored paper that I painted with acrylic paints and then punched them out of. And these I also have in all different kinds of colors. I like variation and being able to get what color I want and what style I want when I need it. So I tend to do things like that in spurts and things like this as well. It's like one day I do grass tufts if I'm bored and don't feel like doing anything else. So here I've got my different kinds of grass tufts. And let's see, I don't know if I'm gonna want to use, these are pretty high or long, so those I probably won't use. But the other ones, they're mixed of different kinds of tufts. So I'm gonna add some. And like I said in the beginning, these are all handmade, pretty simply. And I'm using different colors so that I'm not stuck to one type of setting. And I'm putting them where I think they'd grow. Like behind a rock. They might be able to grow. And like this, I'm just doing just a few ones. I don't want like 200 of these. Just a couple ones to get more interest once again into this. These ones I made with some flocking in the bottom and then added static grass on top of them, these darker ones. So we're getting done with these tufts. So something like that. And then I only have like 2 things I think I'm gonna add to these, and that is sparsely. Here I have my flower tufts, and I think I'm gonna add like 1 or 2 flower tufts to these. Let's see there, maybe here. Here I have a red one. Like so. And the absolute final step is I'm gonna add a couple of these leaves, also very sparingly, but a couple here and there. So something like this. And for doing stuff like this, tweezers is a great go-to, because these are such small things. Add some of these as well. Like I said, I like variety, and it helps with being able to have this from any type of setting. So I'm just going in and adding the few I choose. And the foreground, no, Green Stuff World punch, it has 4 different leaves, I think. Yeah, 4 different leaves in one punch. So I'm not using like a different punch or like the same leaf, I mean, on each of these. So I'm using different types of leaves. Let's see, get one up. Like so. So here we go. This is how it looks. I like it. It's different. And it looks pretty real, I think. This could be a really old, unkept, used road. And it's still in use. So I like it. I will probably varnish this to get all the flocking and stuff to stay in place. But I'm gonna do the rest of this. And if I decide I need something else as well on this, I'll come back and show you. So I will see you soon. Bye. Okay, so I'm done. I don't know if I'm gonna bother to show you when I varnish them, because they will look exactly the same. But I thought I'd take the opportunity to look at these in daylight. I can give you a bit of a close-up so you can see the color variations in the dirts and also quite a bit in the rocks and stuff, and how the texturing, they're still pretty flat. Oh, I added one more thing. I added some medium clump foliage in a mix of greens that I had mixed already, that are those parts, as little shrubberies, and just added like on the big pieces, like this one I have 3. So nothing overboard. And that was the only thing I added, except what I went through with you on the last clip. But here you go. They're all done, and I'm really happy with them. There are always things I think I could have done differently or better, or however, looking back. But like I said, this is a journey you made with me. It's a journey. I've never done anything like this before. So, and also, of course, you can take what you want of these techniques I've shown you, or steps, and use them in however you want. You can stop at whatever stage you want. And I'm not saying this because I think you don't understand it, but maybe somebody new needs to know, so that's why I'm saying it. You can don't use the cobblestone, use the mud, in whatever way. You can do this in a million ways. So that's it, and I will thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!